Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to EnggAdda. So in this video we are going to discuss how we can pass the parameter dynamically to the native query in Spring Data JPA. So if you are not aware about the @query, @param annotations, then there is a video on my channel. You can watch it out and get clear about those annotations, how they are working, why they are working like that. So everything about the @query, @param annotation I have covered in that video. So you can watch it out. In this video, we are going to discuss how we can dynamically pass the parameters to the native query in Spring Data JPA. So let's get started for that. So let me try to go to the IntelliJ, and here you can see I have created one Spring Boot CRUD application. And if you don't know how to create the Spring Boot CRUD application, there is a lot more videos on my channel about the CRUD application. You can go and watch it out. Okay, so let me try to explain you about the application that we have created here. So you can see we have created one entity, and in the entity we have the product, and we have couple of attributes of the product. So this is the entity class for us. Then we have created the repository, which is extending the JPA repository, and here we have created one method which is using the @query parameters. Okay, @query attribute to run the native query. Okay, now going to the service, we have the product service interface where we have couple of methods, couple of CRUD methods, you can say create, read, update and delete, and we have the implementation of this method inside this product service IMPL class. And finally we have the controller where we have developed our endpoints. Okay, this is the class level mapping, and we have others endpoint as well, like get mapping, post mapping, get all, put, delete, and the get mapping for the native query as well. So this is about the application that we have developed. Okay, now here you can see, let me go to the product repository. Here you can see I have created additional method which is returning the list of product, right? And we are running the native query. Okay, so this method is also working same as how the find all method is working, which is provided by the JPA repository. But this method we have created by ourselves to show you that how the query parameter is working and how we can run the native query. But what if you want to uh, dynamically pass the attributes to this query, right? Let's say here we are, what we are doing, we are just selecting out all the records from the table, all the products from the product table, right? This is what we are doing here, right? But what if you want to provide the where condition? Let's say you want to select only those product which name is book, car, or something like that, or you want to select the product based upon their ID. Okay, and those parameters, those where condition parameters, you want to dynamically pass in the method, or you want to pass those parameters in the path variable. Okay, so those things how you can do. So here we are going to discuss that. Okay, so first of all let me try to make this application up and then try to hit the endpoint and try to show you. So just wait for a few seconds. And yeah, our application is up on the port number 9000. Let me also brief you about the database connectivity. So here you can see in the application properties file we have provided the configuration for the database connectivity, where we have provided the URL, username, password, and these are the additional configuration for the Hibernate queries, and this is the port number on which our application is up. So these are a couple of additional configuration that we need to do in order to create the in order to connect with the database, right? And let me go to the product. So here you can see in the product entity we have declared the data, sorry, we have declared the table name as a product table, and in the application properties file the database name is product database. So let me try to open the MySQL and try to show you where this database is and where the table is created inside this database and what all the records are there inside the table. So those things we can also fetch it from the APIs as well, but let me try to show you from the DB side. So let me try to log in here. Okay, just open this connection, and now you can see the database name or the database that we are using is product database. So let me go there to the database, go down, you can see product database. Inside product database we have two tables, but in our application what we have defined the table name as product table. Okay, so corresponding to this, it has already created one table in our database which is product underscore table. Okay, so let me try to run this and try to show you. So you can see in product underscore table we have these three records. Okay, and these are the record related to the product. So this many attributes we have in the product entity. Let me try to show you those things as well. So we have ID, name, price, quantity, description, date, and rating, right? And those things you can also see here in the headers. So we have three records of the product in our DB, in our table. So let me try to hit the endpoint and try to show you those things here as well, and we'll also cross check if our endpoint are working or not. So you can see the class level mapping is API products, and when we are going to find all the product from the DB, we need to hit this endpoint, right? All endpoint. So let me go to the postman and let me try to hit this endpoint. Okay, so just hit enter, and it is taking some time. You can see we are getting these three records, three products from the DB, right? So our APIs is also working fine. Now let me try to go to the other API. So now I'm just going to hit this native query API. So let me try to show you the flow of this native query API. So in the native query API, we have this method get all product through the native query, right? Let me go inside this. This is the product service, and if you go inside this is the implementation of it. Here we are calling the get products method, which is inside the product repository that we have manually created. It is not the JPA provided method like others. You can see this delete by ID is the JPA provided method. Similarly, this find all is a JPA provided method, but this get product method we have created inside the product repository. So let me try to go inside this, and here you can see this is returning the list of product. Okay, and how it is returning the list of product. So we are running this native query, which is select the star from the product table, and then it is fetching out the record from the table from the DB and then returning it here. So this is the flow of this API. Now let me try to go to the controller and try hitting this API and show you. So go to the postman and let me try to change the API, which is native query. So just send, and you can see still we are getting all the records, all the products from the DB, right? But what if you want to filter out only those products whose name is book? So you can see here we have two products with the name book with the different ID, price, rating, and the description and the date, right? But if you want to filter out only the product with the name book, so how you can do it? I just want to pass the name of the particular product here in the query or here in the path variable in the API, and then try to fetch it out from the DB. So how you can do it? Okay, so that we are going to implement here. So you can see this is the base query, and here if you want to pass the name of product, let's say book, and then hitting the API, you will find all the products with the particular name, with the name like book. So here we are passing the name of the particular product to the URL, and dynamically it will be going to the uh, query, native query that we are passing. So how we can do it, I will try to show you in this video. So let me try to go there. So first of all, let me try to go to the product repository and create one method here. Okay, so copy this, paste it here. Let's say this method name is get product by name. Okay, and here we'll pass the name of that particular product. Okay, so let me try to use @ param annotation, and let's say its name, and we are passing the name here, which is of string type. Let me try to remove this. And this parameters we will dynamically pass to this query. Okay, so let me try to put the where condition where name is question mark and 1. So you can see we have only one parameter as of now. So that is why this is the way you can pass this name to this name field which is inside the table as a value, right? So this is our parameter. Okay, this is the parameter that we have passed to this method as an argument, and then we are using this parameter in the query as well. So this is how we can dynamically pass the parameter to the native query. Now let me try to call this method inside the sorry let me try to call this method inside the service product service method that we have created. Okay, so let me try to go inside this, and as of now we are not going to call the get product method from the product repository. We are going to call the method that we have created. So it is get product by name, and we need to pass the name here, right? So let me try to pass the name here. So string name, and let pass the name here, and this name will pass by the path variable. Okay, so I will try to show you those things as well. So go to the product service, pass the argument here or parameter here, go inside it, and here we need to pass the name. Okay, and that name we are going to pass in the form of path variable as well in the query, sorry, in the URL. So let me try to pass it here as a name, and this should be at the rate path variable string name, and this should be name here. So let me try to give you a flow of this API. So what we are doing, we are passing the name as a path variable in the URL, and that thing we are passing here in the method, and again we are passing the name in the method that we have created in the product service. Okay, let me try to go there. You can see, go to the implementation of it, and here we are calling the method that we have created inside the product repository and passing the name. Go inside this method, and here you can see this is the parameters, and this parameter we are dynamically passing to the query or the native query, you can say. So it will run this query, select star from the product table where name would be the name that will pass in the path variable in the URL. Okay, so let me try to run this application and try hitting the endpoint and then try to show you. So yeah, just wait for a few seconds. Now you can see our application is up. Okay, now let me go to the postman, and here you can see we are hitting this endpoint which is native query, and then we are passing the product name. Now let me try to hit enter, and you can see we are getting these two records with the product name book, right? So this is how you can dynamically pass the parameters to the native query, okay, in Spring Data JPA. If you want to pass some more parameters as a path variable, then similarly you can follow those things. And let's say here you want to put the condition like and let's say the ID, this time you're passing the ID as a path variable. Okay, so ID equal to question mark 2, because this is the second parameter, and here you need to pass the second parameter as well. So at the red param and pass the ID, and let's say the ID is of integer type. Okay, and you can dynamically pass the ID as well. So this is your second parameters. That is why we are passing the question mark 2 as a second parameter to the ID. So this parameter will be assigned to the ID in the query. Now let me try to uh, do the implementation for this as well to try to show you how you can pass the two parameters dynamically to the native query. So go to this implementation here. Let me try to pass the second parameter as well. Let's say ID and ID. And let me try to go to the product service. Here we need to pass the ID as well. Good. Now let me go inside this. Again, we need to pass the ID as a path variable. So we need to pass the ID here, and then in the path variable also we need to pass the ID. So path variable integer ID, and then we need to pass the ID in the method. Okay, so we are good now. Now let me try to run this application and try passing the ID in the URL and then try to show you. So just wait for a few seconds. This will up. Okay, now go to the postman and let's say you want to pass the ID here. Let's say we have two books with the ID 2 and 3. Now we want to fetch out the book with the ID 2 only. So just enter here and you can see we are getting the book with the ID 2. So this is how you can pass the parameters dynamically to the native query. Okay, so this is about the video guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.